The evening arrived without making any effort. It didn't announce itself with color or sound. It simply appeared, the way evenings often do when no one is watching closely. The sky outside the small house softened into a gentle gray blue, and the day quietly stepped aside. Inside, the old man sat in his chair. The chair had been there longer than most things in the room. It knew his shape. It understood his stillness. When he sat down, it did not creak or complain. It accepted his weight the way an old friend accepts silence. A lamp beside him glowed softly, not bright enough to wake a thought, not dim enough to invite sleep just yet. It rested somewhere in between, like a pause. The old man's breathing was slow, though he wasn't trying to make it that way. It simply happened. In and out. Each breath arrived on time, then left without needing to be remembered. Outside the window, nothing important happened. A tree stood where it had always stood. The road remained empty. The distance between things stayed the same. There was no reason for anything to move faster. The old man did not think about the day he had just finished. The day did not ask to be reviewed. It slipped away quietly, taking its small details with it. His hands rested on the arms of the chair. They were warm, still, content to remain where they were. There was no need to adjust them, no reason to move. The clock in the other room marked time gently, but the sound was so faint it barely mattered. Time could pass if it wanted to. It could also slow down. Nothing depended on it right now. The old man looked toward the window, though he wasn't really looking at anything in particular. His eyes rested, the way the rest of him rested, seeing without effort, noticing without holding on. The room felt settled. Air stayed where it was. Shadows didn't stretch or shrink. Even the quiet seemed comfortable, as if it had found the exact shape it needed. The evening continued, not forward, not backward, just wide. And the old man remained there, breathing calmly, letting the night begin without asking it to become anything more. The room did not change much, but it became quieter in a way that was hard to explain. Not quieter because sound stopped, but quieter because nothing needed attention anymore. Even the soft hum of the world outside seemed farther away, as if it had decided to leave the old man alone for the night. He remained in the chair. His shoulders rested naturally, no longer holding the day up. They had learned, over many evenings like this one, that there was nothing left to carry. Gravity did the work now. Gravity and time. The lamp's light stayed steady. It did not flicker. It did not grow brighter. It simply stayed where it was, casting familiar shapes that had no intention of changing. The old man blinked slowly. Each blink lasted a little longer than the one before it. Not because he was tired exactly, but because his eyes understood that they didn't need to stay open all the time. Closing them briefly felt safe. The floor beneath the chair remained firm, solid, trustworthy. It held everything without effort, just as it always had. Nothing sank. Nothing shifted. Outside, the evening deepened, though it did not rush. The sky did not darken suddenly. It took its time, layer by layer, becoming softer, heavier, calmer. The old man's breathing stayed slow and even, in and out. There was no counting, no pattern to follow. The breath knew what to do on its own. It always had. A memory tried to arrive once, briefly. Not a strong one. Just a shape of something that might have mattered earlier in the day. But it found no place to sit, and so it drifted away again. The old man did not follow it. His hands felt warmer now. Or maybe they had always been warm, and he was only noticing it because nothing else was asking for attention. Fingers relaxed slightly, loosening their quiet grip on nothing at all. The clock continued its gentle work somewhere in the house. Each second passed, then disappeared, leaving no trace behind. Time moved forward, but softly, like footsteps on thick carpet. The chair supported the old man fully now. There was no sense of waiting, no sense of arriving, just a long, comfortable pause where nothing needed to be decided. The room held him. The evening held the room, and the night, slowly and patiently, began to gather around everything, without asking for permission. The old man did not open his eyes right away. There was no reason to. Behind his closed eyelids, the darkness felt soft, almost friendly. It was not the kind of darkness that hides things. It was the kind that lets everything rest. His breathing remained slow and even. In, out. Each breath seemed to smooth the space around him, as if the air itself was learning how to relax. The chair beneath him creaked very slightly, not from movement but from age. It was an honest sound, familiar and comforting. The chair had its own memories after all. It had listened longer than most people ever did. The old man's hands rested loosely in his lap now. The tension that once lived in his fingers had quietly packed its bags and left. His palms were warm, carrying the gentle heat of a life well lived. A memory drifted in. Not a sharp one. Not a loud one. Just a small moment. A quiet morning long ago when the world felt slower. Sunlight touching a wooden table. The smell of something warm in the kitchen. No hurry. No pressure. Just time. Stretching wide and patient. The memory didn't demand attention. It simply existed, floating softly like a leaf resting on still water. The old man did not try to hold it. He didn't need to. His mind understood now that memories come and go best when they are not chased. The room felt larger somehow. Not physically, but emotionally. As if the walls had stepped back, giving him more space to breathe, more space to be. Outside, the world continued its distant rhythm. But inside this room, inside this moment, everything slowed to a peaceful pause. His shoulders dropped just a little more. The weight he had carried all day, the small worries, the old habits of tension, began to loosen. They didn't disappear suddenly. They simply stopped gripping so tightly. Time felt different here. Minutes did not rush forward. Seconds did not push. They flowed gently, like a calm river that had forgotten where it was supposed to go. The old man's face softened. The lines around his eyes eased, not erased, but relaxed, like they finally understood they were allowed to rest too. Nothing needed fixing. Nothing needed thinking. This moment was already complete. And as the silence deepened, it became clear that this quiet was not empty at all. It was full of calm, full of breath, full of rest. And the old man stayed there, floating gently, letting the night carry him further into peace. The stillness did not deepen suddenly. It unfolded. Like a slow evening tide, it moved in without sound, without effort, touching everything gently and changing nothing at all. The old man remained where he was, yet something subtle shifted. Not his body, his awareness. It softened. The edges of his thoughts blurred, no longer sharp enough to hold shape. They became impressions instead of ideas, sensations instead of stories. The space behind his eyes grew dark and calm. No images formed there, no colors asked to appear, just a comfortable darkness, smooth and uninterrupted. His breathing grew quieter. Not slower, quieter, as if the breath itself had learned to move without announcing its arrival. Each inhale felt cool and easy. Each exhale carried something away that no longer needed to stay. The world outside faded another step. Sounds, if they existed at all, felt distant and unimportant. They passed through the night without touching him. His hands felt warm now, heavy in a pleasant way. The fingers curled slightly, not from tension but from rest. The palms knew they were supported. There was no need to grip, no reason to hold on. The old man's face relaxed fully. The small lines around his eyes softened. The jaw loosened. Even the tongue rested comfortably, finding its natural place. Nothing needed fixing. Nothing needed attention. There was a sense of being held, not by something specific, but by everything at once. The bench, the air, the quiet, the slow patience of the night itself. Time no longer felt like time. It felt like space, wide open, forgiving. Memories stayed away now. They had done their work and gently stepped aside. The future made no appearance either. It had learned to wait. Only this moment remained. And even that began to dissolve. Not disappearing, but becoming larger than itself. The old man drifted without moving. Not falling. Not floating. Just resting in the quiet beneath everything, and the quiet welcomed him. The way it always does. Without words, without conditions, without end. The quiet did not change. It did not grow louder, and it did not fade away. It simply stayed, calm and steady, allowing everything else to slow down around it. The old man no longer noticed his breathing. It continued on its own, smooth and even, as if it had learned long ago how to move without attention. In and out. Each breath arrived gently and left just as gently, without effort, without pause. There was nothing to manage, nothing to adjust. His body felt heavier now, but not uncomfortable. It was the soft heaviness of deep rest, the kind that comes when the body finally understands it does not need to hold itself anymore. The shoulders dropped fully. They released the day. They released the past. They released the quiet tension they had been carrying without realizing it. The neck softened next, slowly loosening, letting go of small, tight places that had been there for years. The head rested easily, perfectly supported, as if it had found its natural balance at last. The world felt very distant now. Not gone, just quiet enough to stop mattering. If a sound existed somewhere far away, it reached him without meaning and then disappeared. If a thought tried to form, it slowed, lost its shape, and gently dissolved before becoming complete. There was no effort to stop it. Nothing needed to be pushed away. The darkness felt smooth and even, surrounding him without pressure. It was not empty, and it was not heavy. It simply existed, calm and settled. Time softened. Moments no longer followed one another. They rested together side by side, without order, without direction. There was no past asking for attention, and no future waiting to arrive. The old man felt safe here. Safe enough to stop checking. Safe enough to stop listening for anything else. Safe enough to let go completely. His awareness drifted lower, sinking beneath thoughts, beneath memory, beneath words. It settled deep inside the body, in a place that knows rest without explanation. Here, nothing was expected. Here, nothing could go wrong. The quiet held him gently, like still water holding something light that no longer tries to float or sink. And as the night continued its slow, patient rhythm, the old man rested deeper and deeper, carried forward without effort, guided by silence alone. Nothing asked him to wake. Nothing asked him to move. The old man remained exactly where he was, resting in a place that felt deeper than sleep and quieter than silence. His body had stopped giving instructions. There was no signal to adjust, no urge to shift position. Everything had settled into its most natural form, as if gravity itself had gently arranged him and then stepped away. Breath moved softly, almost invisibly now. In and out. Each breath felt wider than before, spreading through the chest, the back, the ribs, and then flowing away again without leaving a trace. There was no beginning and no end to it. Just a smooth, repeating motion that did not need to be followed. The old man drifted beneath his thoughts. Thoughts still existed somewhere far above, like clouds that no longer belonged to the sky he rested in. They passed without shape, without story, without weight. None of them stayed long enough to matter. His awareness sank lower, below memory, below language, below the habit of naming things. Here, nothing needed a reason. The bench beneath him felt less solid now, not because it disappeared, but because his body no longer pressed against it. Support was everywhere, evenly distributed, coming from the ground, the earth, the quiet itself. The night wrapped around him gently, not like a blanket, not like a wall, more like warm water that holds without gripping, allowing everything to float naturally in its own time. Time had almost no meaning here. Seconds did not pass. Minutes did not form. There was only a slow unfolding of rest, spreading outward from the center of his chest, moving through his arms, his hands, his fingers, until even the smallest muscles forgot what tension felt like. His face softened completely. The lines of expression faded, not erased, but relaxed, as if they no longer needed to speak for him. The jaw loosened. The tongue rested comfortably. The eyes stayed gently closed, peaceful and still. There was nothing left to watch, nothing left to wait for. The old man existed in a quiet pause between moments, a place where the mind steps aside and allows the body to remember how to rest on its own. The darkness did not feel empty. It felt full of calm, full of safety, full of permission to let go. And in that fullness, the old man drifted even deeper, carried forward by silence, supported by stillness, resting in a night that asked for nothing and offered everything. The night did not change. It did not deepen or fade. It simply remained steady, patient, unmoving. The old man stayed within it, not as someone waiting, but as someone already arrived. Breathing continued on its own. No effort. No direction. Each breath arrived exactly when it was needed, and left without asking to be noticed. The body had remembered an older rhythm, one that existed long before counting, before thinking, before trying. Stillness learned him. It learned the shape of his shoulders as they settled lower. It learned the gentle curve of his spine as gravity held it kindly. It learned the quiet weight of his head, resting without strain. Nothing pulled him back toward the surface of thought. The mind loosened further, drifting like a door left slightly open, allowing silence to pass through freely. Ideas did not form. Words did not gather. There was no inner voice guiding or questioning, only awareness, soft and wide. The air around him felt warmer now, as if the night itself had adjusted to his presence. Not closer, not tighter, just more comfortable, like a room that knows exactly how much space to give. Somewhere beyond perception, time continued its usual work. But here it paused. Moments did not stack on top of one another. They spread out, side by side, creating a wide field of rest where nothing needed to hurry forward. The old man drifted deeper into that field, muscles released in layers. First the obvious ones, arms, legs, shoulders. Then the quiet ones, around the eyes, behind the knees, deep in the lower back. Finally, even the smallest tensions dissolved, the ones usually hidden beneath awareness. His hands felt lighter. Fingers rested naturally, slightly curved, no longer holding anything. No objects, no memories, no unfinished thoughts, just warmth and calm. The bench beneath him felt distant now, not because it disappeared, but because the body no longer leaned on any single point. Support came from everywhere equally, like being held by the night itself. Darkness surrounded him evenly. No edges, no corners. It did not press inward. It did not pull outward. It simply existed, allowing him to exist within it. The old man did not dream. Dreams require movement, images, direction. This was deeper than that. This was a quiet resting place where nothing happened, and yet everything felt complete. Breath after breath flowed gently, carrying him forward into a softness that had no bottom, only comfort. And the night continued to hold him, exactly as he was, without asking him to be anything more. The world beyond did not reach him. No wind, no distant voices, no hint of movement. There was nothing to disturb the stillness. Even the faintest rustle of leaves seemed to pause in respect, giving him space to rest completely. The old man's body felt suspended in calm. His spine melted into the bench's support, as if the wood had softened beneath him. Every limb released tension they had carried for decades, each one folding naturally into the rhythm of the night. Breath was a gentle tide. In and out. It moved through him without thought, without pause, without interruption. The rhythm was not measured. It simply existed, perfectly aligned with the quiet that had settled over everything. Thoughts occasionally tried to appear. Perhaps a memory, perhaps a fleeting worry, perhaps a name or a sound. But each one slowed immediately, like a stone dropped into thick, dark water. Ripples formed and vanished before reaching the surface of awareness. Nothing needed to be remembered. Nothing needed to be planned. The old man existed only in the present, the calm, endless present that had no beginning and no end. Even the air around him seemed alive with stillness. Not moving, not heavy, not cold, just perfectly neutral, perfectly supporting, perfectly quiet. Every molecule of it felt aligned with the rhythm of his body and the soft pulse of his surroundings. The bench beneath him, the ground below the bench, the earth below that, all of it worked together seamlessly. Layers of support stacked without effort, without notice. He no longer thought about where support came from. He simply felt it, fully and completely. His hands rested lightly in his lap, fingers loose, palms warm. No tension remained anywhere in his body. Even the muscles he had never consciously noticed were held in gentle balance. The dark sky stretched above and around him, enveloping him without pressing, without pulling. He could not tell where he ended and the night began. In this quiet, he could feel the night breathing along with him, gently, evenly, without requiring acknowledgement. Time felt different here. Not faster, not slower. It did not exist as it did in the waking world. Instead, it simply accompanied him, expanding to fill the calm around him. And in that calm, the old man rested deeper than he had in years. Not sinking, not floating, simply existing, completely supported, completely quiet, completely safe. Even the smallest sound, if it existed far away, arrived only as a suggestion and then disappeared. There was nothing to respond to, nothing to interpret. The old man's mind continued to drift, sliding past thought, past memory, past worry, into a wide expanse of quiet that seemed endless. No effort was required. No judgment existed. No expectation could enter. Here, in this gentle, suspended space, he was exactly where he needed to be, and that was enough. The night remained still, yet it felt larger than before. The old man's body rested on the bench, calm and steady, as though he were cradled by something invisible, something patient. Every inch of him surrendered, every muscle softened, every thought faded. Breath flowed like slow waves in and out, in and out. No counting, no awareness, just a gentle rhythm that held him in a quiet balance. Each breath seemed to stretch outward, filling the space around him with a kind of calm that could almost be touched. He did not follow his thoughts. He did not chase them. They came briefly, like faint shadows passing across a wall, and then they were gone. Nothing stayed long enough to disturb the stillness. The air held him gently, evenly. It did not press. It did not pull. It simply existed, surrounding every part of him, supporting him without effort. The bench beneath him felt both solid and light. The ground beneath the bench held firm, yet seemed to fade into softness. Layers of support intertwined seamlessly, grounding him in a way he could feel but never need to analyze. Even the trees around him seemed to pause. Their branches did not sway, their leaves whispered nothing. Everything existed in harmony with the slow, deep rhythm of his being. His hands rested lightly in his lap, fingers loose, palms warm. There was no tension anywhere. The old man's body understood rest better than the mind ever could. The sky above was a soft, endless dark. Not oppressive, not heavy, not cold, just vast and patient, folding around him like a gentle cloak. Darkness did not conceal, it held, it supported. The old man's awareness sank deeper, past memory, past expectation, past the notion of time itself. He existed in a space where the usual markers of life, seconds, minutes, hours, mattered no longer. They were replaced by the simple rhythm of breath, the quiet presence of the night, and the gentle weight of stillness. He did not dream, yet the space felt alive. Alive with calm, alive with softness, alive with the permission to simply be. Every part of him was supported, every part of him was still, every part of him rested, completely and without condition. The night stretched around him, steady and unchanging. It did not demand anything. It did not question. It simply held him in perfect quiet. The old man's breathing slowed even further, becoming almost imperceptible, yet deep, full, and natural. Each inhalation expanded the quiet. Each exhalation carried away the tiniest remnants of tension. Thoughts tried to surface, but the night caught them gently before they reached him. Nothing was required, nothing was asked. He existed entirely in this calm, this stillness, this gentle pause that held everything exactly as it was. And that was all he needed. The night seemed to breathe along with him. Each moment stretched, not outward, not forward, but inward, expanding quietly into spaces that words could never reach. The old man remained on the bench, calm and utterly unhurried. His body rested completely, a soft weight in the darkness, neither tense nor limp, but balanced in a way that could only come from long practice of being still. Breath continued. In, out, in, out. Each one steady, slow, imperceptible, yet full, carrying him deeper into the quiet. Each exhalation seemed to release the slightest tension remaining. Each inhalation pulled in the infinite softness of the night. Thoughts appeared like clouds on a vast, empty sky. They drifted, they lingered, they vanished. He neither chased them nor resisted. They had no meaning here. Nothing had to be remembered. Nothing had to be known. The air held him gently, not pressing, not cool, not warm, just present, wrapping around him as though the night itself had folded into a shape meant for perfect calm. The bench beneath him was both solid and forgiving, supporting every contour without requiring effort. The ground beneath it bore quietly, carrying the bench's weight and his own, all flowing together into a seamless support he did not need to acknowledge. Around him the trees waited silently. Their branches did not sway. Their leaves made no sound. Even the smallest rustle, if it had existed, had been absorbed by the vast rhythm of the night. His hands rested lightly in his lap, fingers loose, palms warm. No movement was necessary, no signal required. His body knew rest better than the mind ever could. Above, the sky was dark and boundless, stretching infinitely. Darkness did not conceal or threaten. It simply existed, embracing him like a soft, endless cloak, with no edges and no corners, only the patient hold of quiet. He did not dream. He did not wander. Yet the space felt alive, alive with calm, alive with stillness, alive with the kind of presence that required nothing of him. Time itself seemed irrelevant. Seconds, minutes, hours, they had no sway here. Only breath, only body, only night and quiet and stillness existed. The old man existed entirely in this gentle rhythm. Each breath expanded the calm. Each exhale released the smallest fragments of worry. Each inhalation pulled in the night's soft embrace. Every part of him was supported. Every part of him rested. Every part of him belonged to the quiet. If a sound existed far away, it was carried gently by the night before reaching him. Nothing disturbed the balance. Nothing demanded attention. He rested in a calm that stretched without end, a field of soft stillness surrounding him in every direction. Past and future held no sway, no memory, no expectation, no plan. Only the gentle, infinite present. Bench, ground, air, sky. All of it existed in perfect harmony, holding him in the center of quiet. Every inhalation, every exhalation, every second folded into a single, endless breath. The night held everything in its soft, steady embrace. Darkness stretched endlessly, yet it was not empty. It was full of calm, gentle presence, a quiet that required nothing and asked for no attention. The old man sat on his bench, perfectly still. His body was loose, heavy, and relaxed, blending seamlessly with the quiet night around him. There was no need to adjust, no urge to move. The bench supported him. The earth supported the bench. Everything rested, balanced in a way that asked nothing and gave everything. Breath moved slowly, deliberately, without pause, without thought. In, out, In, out. Each exhale carried away the tiniest fragments of tension. Each inhale welcomed the soft, gentle night into his being. There was no counting, no measuring, only the continuous rhythm of life, steady and comforting. Thoughts drifted by like soft, unhurried leaves on a calm river. He did not chase them, he did not push them away. They arrived quietly, lingered briefly, and left silently. His mind did not hold. It did not resist. It only flowed with the gentle current of stillness. The air around him was soft, tangible in its calm. It wrapped him in invisible layers of comfort, holding without pressure, supporting without effort. Each breath, each heartbeat, each quiet moment was absorbed into the infinite patience of the night. The trees did not move. Their branches held steady, their leaves remained still. Even the faintest sounds, perhaps a distant footstep, a door closing far away, were carried beyond reach, gently absorbed by the night. Silence was complete, full, and alive. His hands rested loosely in his lap, fingers soft, palms warm. No movement was needed. Every part of him surrendered to the stillness, allowing the night to hold him entirely. Above, the sky stretched without edges, corners, or weight. Darkness enveloped everything evenly, a soft, invisible blanket that pressed neither down nor up. It simply existed, vast and gentle, holding all in calm balance. He did not dream. He did not imagine. Yet the space was alive with quiet life, the rhythm of trees, the pulse of the air, the soft flow of breath. Life existed not in movement, but in perfect, unhurried stillness. Time no longer mattered. Seconds, minutes, hours, they held no meaning here. Only the present existed, wide and infinite, held entirely in the gentle pause of night. The old man existed fully in this moment. Each inhale brought calm. Each exhale released every remaining fragment of thought. Every fiber of his being rested, supported, embraced by everything. The world itself seemed to breathe along with him. Earth, bench, air, sky, they moved together in perfect harmony. Every motion, however imperceptible, blended into the quiet rhythm of the night. And so he rested. Fully. Completely. Without need. Without thought. Without motion. Held by the night. Embraced by the darkness. Supported by all around him. And that was enough. The night was calm and patient, endless, holding everything gently without beginning or end. Darkness wrapped the world softly, steady and complete, a quiet that demanded nothing and asked nothing. The old man sat on the bench, every part of him relaxed. His body was loose, hands resting naturally in his lap, eyes half closed, blending with the shadows. No tension lingered. No thought reached for attention. He simply existed, fully present, quietly resting in a stillness that could not be measured or disturbed. Breathing was slow and steady, a rhythm needing no counting. In, out, in, out. Each inhale welcomed the calm of night. Each exhale released tension, fragments of thought, traces of the day. The rhythm flowed like a tide, seamless and complete, neither rushed nor paused. Thoughts drifted lightly, like leaves across a quiet pond. They came, lingered, and left. He did not chase them nor hold them. His mind, like the night, allowed them to pass, letting stillness grow wider, deeper, and more complete. The air itself felt alive with calm. Invisible currents held him gently, supporting every part of him effortlessly. Every particle of night seemed aware of his presence, bending quietly around him, holding him safely and softly. The trees remained motionless, branches steady, leaves silent. Even the faintest sound, a distant animal, a door closing far away, a passing wind, was absorbed by the night before reaching him. Silence here was not empty. It was full, complete, alive. His hands rested loosely in his lap, fingers relaxed, palms warm. No need to move. Every part of him surrendered fully to quiet, finding peace deeper than words could hold. Above, the sky stretched endlessly. Darkness had no corners, no edges, no weight. It did not press, did not pull. It simply existed, infinite and gentle, surrounding everything, enfolding all, demanding nothing. He did not dream. He did not imagine. Yet the world pulsed softly. The whisper of air, the rhythm of trees, the movement of breath and blood within him. Life existed not in activity, but in the perfect, unhurried stillness of night. Time held no meaning. Seconds, minutes, hours. They existed only in memory or expectation, neither of which held sway here. Only now existed, fully present in the gentle embrace of night. The old man existed completely in this infinite pause. Each inhale brought calm. Each exhale released any remaining thoughts. Every fiber of him rested, supported, and held by all around him. Earth, bench, air, sky. They were in harmony, perfect balance. Every subtle movement blended seamlessly into stillness. The world and the man became one quiet, living presence, complete and undisturbed. And so he rested, fully, completely, without need, without thought, without motion, held by night, embraced by darkness, supported by everything around him. And that was enough. The night stretched on, endless and calm, holding the world in its soft embrace. Every shadow felt settled, every sound hushed before it could reach the ear. Darkness was not heavy or oppressive. It was a gentle presence, patient and steady, wrapping everything in quiet understanding. The old man sat on his bench, relaxed yet alert, in a way that only deep rest could bring. His hands lay loosely in his lap, fingers slightly curled, palms warm. Eyes half closed, he watched the dim shapes of the trees, the outlines of branches that seemed to sway without motion. Even in stillness, there was presence. Breathing came and went without effort. Inhaling, he felt the night deepen, carrying calm through every muscle and fiber. Exhaling, he released lingering thoughts, small echoes of the day that had passed. Each breath was a wave, gentle, rhythmic, steady, folding him into the soft arms of darkness. Time had no urgency here. Seconds moved slowly, minutes blended into hours, yet none of it mattered. Moments existed only to be noticed and then let go, like leaves drifting on a calm stream. Nothing demanded attention. Nothing begged for remembrance. The bench supported him. The earth beneath the bench held everything in place, the air wrapped softly around him. Support layered upon support, quiet and unseen, yet perfectly present. There was comfort in knowing nothing was floating, nothing was unheld. Somewhere distant, a sound might have existed once, a door closing, a faint animal call, but it was carried away by the night. What remained was full silence, not empty, not lonely, but complete and satisfying. Thoughts drifted briefly, unformed and faded. He did not chase them, did not push them away. The mind, like the night, was allowed to pause, to rest, to simply be. Each pause widened the space of quiet, deepened the calm, made room for stillness to grow. The sky stretched endlessly above, darkness without edges or corners, soft and encompassing. Stars, if they existed, were distant, small, gentle pinpoints, not drawing attention, only quietly present. The night did not demand anything, did not ask for observation. It simply held. He felt fully present in this space. There was no past to review, no future to reach. Only now existed, wide and gentle, steady and patient. Each breath, each heartbeat, each subtle movement of muscle or thought existed in perfect harmony with all around him. Earth, bench, trees, air, and sky. All of it seemed aligned, a quiet balance that required no effort, only presence. Every subtle sensation became a part of a larger, seamless rhythm of calm. The old man rested fully within it, embraced completely by night, and that was enough. The night carried on, deep and patient, a vast expanse of calm that stretched endlessly around him. The darkness was not empty. It was soft, full, quietly alive with stillness. Every shadow, every breath of air, every faint rustle of leaves contributed to the gentle rhythm that surrounded the old man. He remained on the bench, hands resting lightly in his lap, fingers relaxed, palms warm. His body was still yet comfortable, supported fully by the earth beneath him, the bench holding him perfectly, the night itself embracing him. He neither moved nor strained. He simply existed, part of the quiet fabric of the evening. Breathing was steady, unhurried, a natural tide that did not need counting. In, out. In, out. Each inhale brought a subtle awareness of the night, a calm that seeped into every muscle and thought. Each exhale released tension, fragments of the day, and any lingering distractions, leaving only the profound simplicity of now. Time had no meaning here. Seconds, minutes, hours. They flowed together, indistinguishable, irrelevant. Moments rested beside one another without urgency, like smooth stones placed gently on soft earth. Nothing demanded attention, nothing required naming, nothing sought remembrance. The bench, the earth, the air, all held him effortlessly. Support layered upon support, subtle, quiet, unseen, yet completely present. The old man felt the reassurance of this invisible architecture, knowing everything was held, stable, and safe. Sounds, if they existed at all, were distant and fleeting. A faint animal call, a far-off wind, a door closing somewhere. None disturbed the night's serenity. Silence was full, expansive, complete, and comforting. Thoughts drifted lazily across the edges of awareness, unformed and fleeting. He did not follow them, did not resist them. They moved gently past him like clouds drifting across the night sky, unnoticed yet naturally part of the vast stillness around him. The sky above stretched endlessly, darkness without corners or edges, encompassing everything without weight or demand. Stars, if present, twinkled faintly and quietly, never intruding, only enhancing the sense of calm that filled the air. The old man's presence was entirely at peace. Past and future no longer mattered. Only the now existed, wide and gentle, holding everything exactly as it was. Each breath, each subtle movement of the body, each quiet thought was in harmony with the night. Earth, bench, air, trees, and sky, all aligned in a seamless, quiet balance. Every sensation merged into the stillness. Every moment became part of a rhythm deeper than thought. The old man rested completely, embraced by the night, fully supported, entirely calm. And so he stayed, held perfectly by darkness, wrapped in stillness, quiet, and peace. Nothing else was needed. The night, the bench, and he, together in complete, gentle harmony, were enough. The night unfolded slowly, like a soft wave stretching endlessly across the world. Shadows merged with the darkness, forming gentle shapes that did not startle or intrude, only existed quietly. The old man remained on his bench, a silent presence, fully supported, fully still, yet entirely aware of everything around him. His hands rested in his lap, fingers loose, palms warm. He did not move them. His body relaxed fully into the support of the bench and earth beneath it. Even the air around him felt alive yet calm, like a soft, invisible embrace, holding him gently. Breathing found its own rhythm, slow and effortless. Inhalation brought a subtle awareness of the night. The faint rustle of leaves, the distant murmur of the earth, the quiet hum of space itself. Exhalation carried away tension, thought, and any remainder of the day, leaving only presence, clarity, and stillness. Time had ceased to matter. Moments layered together without sequence or expectation. Seconds and minutes mingled and softened into one another, forming a quiet continuum where nothing demanded attention. Each fragment of experience rested lightly beside the next, like smooth stones arranged carefully on damp soil. The night itself seemed to stretch and expand around him, encompassing the bench, the trees, and the distant horizon. Every sound, every subtle movement, every faint echo that might have existed far away was softened, carried off into nothingness. Silence became full, substantial, comforting. Thoughts floated briefly, wisps of memory or fragments of imagination, and then drifted away. The old man did not chase them. He did not resist them. They passed, unobserved, leaving only the quiet awareness of the present. The sky above was seamless darkness, soft and enveloping, without corners, without edges. Stars, if visible at all, were distant and faint, small points of gentle light that complemented the vast calm rather than drawing focus. The old man's body and mind were completely at ease. Past and future no longer intruded, only the now remained, vast, patient, and gentle. Every breath, every slight adjustment of muscle, every subtle movement of thought harmonized perfectly with the night. The bench, the ground, the air, the trees, the sky, all combined to form a quiet, seamless support. The old man rested fully within this network of calm. Each subtle sensation blended into the rhythm of the night. Each heartbeat became part of the overarching stillness. He remained in this peaceful alignment, fully embraced by darkness, fully present, entirely calm. The night held him gently, quietly, perfectly, and that was enough. The night continued, a soft, unbroken expanse stretching endlessly in all directions. Darkness was not emptiness. It was full, gentle, and patient. Every shadow, every rustle of leaves, every subtle draft of air blended into a rhythm of calm. The old man remained on the bench, still and unhurried, embraced by the quiet, steady pulse of the evening. His hands rested lightly in his lap, fingers loose and relaxed. His palms were warm, resting in the natural flow of the night's calm. He did not move them, nor did he feel the urge to. His body was fully supported, held effortlessly by the bench and the earth beneath it. Every sensation was part of the night's gentle fabric, soft and sustaining. Breathing continued as a slow, uncounted tide. Each inhale brought an awareness of stillness. Each exhale carried away any lingering tension, fragment of thought or hint of worry. The rhythm was natural, seamless merging body, mind, and environment into one unbroken flow of presence. Time no longer mattered. Moments overlapped, merged, and softened into one another. There was no past demanding recall, no future waiting to be reached. Everything existed simply in the now, a quiet continuum without edges or boundaries. Each sensation and subtle movement rested in harmony with the next. The bench, the ground, the air, and the trees all combined to support him perfectly. Even the faintest distant sounds were absorbed into the night's calm. A faraway call, a whisper of wind, the soft shift of unseen animals. Silence was full, enveloping, a gentle presence rather than absence. Thoughts, if they appeared, floated by lightly, ungrasped and unchased. The old man did not follow them, did not push them away. They drifted past like soft clouds across the sky, fleeting, unnoticed, leaving only a vast awareness of stillness and presence. Above him, the sky stretched endlessly, soft darkness wrapping around everything. Stars, if visible, glimmered quietly and far away, distant points of light that enhanced the night's serenity without drawing attention. Darkness did not press, did not pull. It simply held him, patient and gentle. The old man's body, mind, and spirit were fully at ease. Each subtle breath, every tiny adjustment, every movement of thought harmonized with the night's pulse. Past and future were irrelevant. Only the now existed, wide and gentle, unbroken and fully present. The earth beneath, the bench supporting him, the air around, the trees, and the sky, all combined into a seamless, silent, supportive embrace. Each subtle sensation, every heartbeat, every thought merged into the vast calm of the night. He remained in this stillness, fully supported, completely calm, entirely present. The night embraced him quietly, endlessly, perfectly, and that alone was enough. The night held everything in a gentle, unhurried embrace. Darkness stretched quietly around the bench, the old man, the trees, and the distant horizon. Every element of the world seemed softened to the point where edges dissolved, sounds blended, and movement became imperceptible. The old man remained still, resting completely, yet fully aware, a silent witness to the night's calm. His hands rested loosely in his lap, fingers curved naturally, palms warm and steady. There was no need to move them, no signal to adjust or shift. The body had learned stillness better than the mind could ever demand, and it rested effortlessly, fully aligned with the support beneath it. Breathing was gentle, slow, and uncounted. Each inhale brought a subtle sensation of the world's quiet rhythm. Each exhale released tension, thought, and the last remnants of the day. There was no hurry, no expectation, only the slow, continuous flow of presence. Time had dissolved. Moments no longer stacked or followed. They rested beside one another like stones laid on soft ground. Nothing needed to be remembered. Nothing required a name. Everything existed simply, fully, quietly, without need for attention. The earth beneath the bench held him, the air around him wrapped him, and the trees stood patiently. Even the distant horizon felt still, unchanging. All things were held, supported, balanced, in a vast, gentle harmony. Occasional whispers of thought passed like shadows on water. The old man did not grasp them. He did not chase or resist. They came, they lingered briefly, and they drifted away. Only the awareness of presence remained, expansive, quiet, and steady. The sky above was seamless darkness, soft and encompassing. If stars appeared, they were faint, distant, subtle. Darkness was not oppressive or heavy. It was an even, patient companion, holding the world and him gently, without edges or boundaries. Each breath, each small adjustment of his body, each thought merged naturally into the rhythm of the night. Past and future were irrelevant. Only this present moment existed, wide, slow, and calm. The bench, the ground, the trees, the sky, the air, all merged into a single quiet support. The old man rested fully within it, completely at ease, entirely present. Every subtle sensation, every heartbeat, every whisper of the night became part of the endless calm surrounding him. And in that stillness there was completeness. Nothing was missing. Nothing needed changing. The night, the bench, the trees, and the old man existed together, perfectly aligned, and that alone was enough. The night continued, steady and calm, enveloping everything in a quiet embrace. The air held a soft stillness, a gentle weight that pressed neither on the body nor the mind. Darkness was not emptiness. It was full, rich, and patient. Every shadow, every leaf, every subtle shift of the wind blended into one vast rhythm of quiet. The old man remained on the bench, resting fully, completely, and entirely present. His hands rested naturally on his lap, fingers relaxed, palms warm. There was no urge to move them. The body, entirely supported by the bench and the earth beneath, had learned stillness as fully as the mind had learned patience. Every sensation merged into the night's calm. Every subtle movement became part of its gentle rhythm. Breathing was slow, steady, uncounted. Each inhale carried the quiet pulse of the night. Each exhale released tension, thought, and the faint remnants of the day. In and out became a single motion, seamless, unbroken, merging mind, body, and night into one continuous presence. Time no longer mattered. Moments rested beside one another like stones laid carefully on soft ground. Nothing demanded attention. Nothing required naming. Only the vast now existed, wide, gentle, and unhurried. The earth beneath, the bench, the air, the trees, the sky, all combined into a single silent support. Occasional distant sounds, a rustle of leaves, a soft breeze, a faraway bird, were absorbed into the night's calm, fading as soon as they arrived. Silence was not empty. It was full, steady, and sustaining. Thoughts, if they came, drifted lightly, ungrasped, unchased. They passed like clouds across the endless dark sky. The old man did not follow them. He did not resist. Only awareness remained, expansive and gentle, fully present with the night. The sky stretched endlessly, soft darkness surrounding everything. Stars, if visible, glimmered faintly in the distance, enhancing the calm without drawing attention. Darkness did not press. It did not pull. It simply held the old man, patiently and gently, as it held the earth, the trees, the bench, and all that existed. Each subtle movement, each soft breath, each quiet sensation merged seamlessly with the night's rhythm. Past and future were irrelevant. Only this present moment existed, calm, wide, and unbroken. The old man rested fully in this gentle embrace. The night supported him completely, holding him without effort, without expectation. Everything was aligned, everything was quiet, and everything was exactly as it should be. And now, as this long, calm night draws softly to a close, there is only the gentle presence of rest. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. Thank you for listening.